my god, okay, it didn't mess up this time. Thank you. Okay. We should be live now. Let me check. There we go. Announcements. Okay. Right. If you could both exit to the main menu for the level. Right, so I'm assuming you remember the rules from last time, so I don't have to reiterate, so I'll give you time to get a timer set for 15 minutes if you want to deafen. Wait a minute for people to join up and stream. Right, I need to turn off notifications to the channel. Nothing. Right, okay. We'll start now, so let me get the timer on. And we will start the first half in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. This is 15 minutes, so we've seen this level before. Wait, okay, Ari, we're gonna have to change the points real quick, because that's the old one. The points are, can you change it to 31 for 1 point? And 49 for 2. You have to highlight it. Wait, we might be seeing some runs here. Oh, wait, I need to look at this. Both of them pass the second point value. 74% is for 10. And that was a death for Sweden. I don't know what it was about. I have to recheck it. Okay, you saw it. 5. And that is going to be 10 points for Ukraine. And qualifying on Sweden's end as well. I'm not really going to have time to talk much here. I feel like this is going to be a very consistently high-scoring round. These are two of our best teams facing off here. So it's expected. Was that 5, I think? Or was it just 1? I'll look up. It was... Yeah, that was 5 points. Both of them are tied right now. I don't think there's a specific one that's expected to do better. Ukraine did a lot better than we thought last time. Sweden is the highest rated in the bracket, I think, so at least in this group. So we'll see how this goes. Sweden at qualifying again. Actually gonna take the lead now. Both of them are qualifying. That is going to be at least 10 points for Sweden, putting them at 20. And Ukraine gets 5 points, putting them at 15. Now, I believe no matter how this match goes, these two teams are going to be making it through in first and second place, so they're really just fighting to see who can get first in the bracket as like a show-off. Both of them at pretty similar parts right now. Qualifying for Sweden. At least getting 5 points here. And qualifying, and that is 5 points for Sweden. Bring them to 25. We could see it equalized here if we get a good run from Ukraine. How many more group stage games are there? There's like around, like, 10 groups need to play. So, there's not too many left. That was that a singular? Okay, what was that? That was 5 points for Ukraine there. That I didn't mention. I don't know if you gave that already. And that is going to be, bro, I can't keep track of everything that's happening. That was 5 points for Ukraine there. And then there was also, was that 5 points? Yeah, 5 points for Sweden. Bring them at 30. Another qualifying for Sweden. It's halfway through. Dies, 5 points awarded. If Sweden doesn't get 100 more points than Ukraine, we can still get first in the group. That is true. And this is going to be qualifying for Ukraine. That is going to be 5 points awarded, putting them to 25. There's just a 10-point difference. There is still 8 minutes of play on this first half, but there's still a big chunk of time left. And that's going to be qualifying for Sweden. Both of them doing really well here, actually. That's 5 points for Sweden again, putting them at 40. And still on a very good run for Ukraine here. Passes the rainbow part and then dies immediately after. 5 more points to Ukraine, putting them to 30. Keeping the scoring. Qualifying from Sweden again. at least gonna score 5 points here. And qualifying on Ukraine as well. That's gonna be 5 points to Sweden, putting them at 45. And looks like Ukraine is looking to counteract that. At least. And that is gonna happen here. And that's gonna be 5 points to Ukraine. And we're back to qualifying on Sweden's end. Now it's gonna be 5 more points for Sweden, putting them at 50. Ari. Who's 50? There we go. And again, another qualifying from Ukraine. And another qualifying. Oh, nope, Sweden. I'm actually gonna have to recheck. I don't think Sweden made that. That's 5 points to Ukraine, putting them at 40. Oh my goodness, Sweden didn't make it. They died to 30.99. That is sad. That is gonna be no points. Grief 97.99 death, exactly. And another good run from Sweden, but gonna make up for it here. Halfway through. Passes the 60 region, dies right after that. Seems to be a choke point for both of them. 5 points. Bean, you should get some helpers for this so you watch them and the helper watches the other. Well, that's what we have for some of the people that are screen sharing. That's what we already do. Ukraine is going right now. Qualifying for Sweden. That's just gonna be 1 point for Sweden, and that's gonna be 5 points for Ukraine, so we're seeing gains made there. Did you drop base down low? No, I've just, like, gotten finger pains recently, that's why I've started doing platformer a bit, when it goes, which I think I'm guessing probably a couple of days now, it's been getting better. I will be back to playing base down low. I might try and just get it out and done with, and do it off stream, we'll see what happens. I've kept all the small buffs that I did, but I brought the ship part that I super buffed back to the original state, because there was really no need for that. It was just making it have a difficulty spike for no reason. I got some better runs, but off stream later, before my finger pain set in. That is going to be 5 points to Sweden. Both of them are having a bit of a dry period here. There is just about 3 minutes for them to score some points here. Sweden has slightly gone ahead here, but still pretty even. One completion could change everything. List percent, or qualifying, for Sweden. And that is going to be 5 points for Sweden there. Qualifying again for Ukraine, looking to counteract that. If one of them can just get past the choke point of 62, it could turn the tide here in their favor, really. Just over 2 minutes left to go in this first half. 62 has been passed by Ukraine. This could be a high point scoring run here. This is gonna be at least a 10-point run. And it is gonna be just 10 points. That puts Ukraine at 55. Back to nearly 10-point difference. That is counteracted by Sweden there. I'm gonna have to recheck what Sweden just got. And you see, did Sweden pass 49 there? No, that was just a singular point for Sweden. But, qualifying again. And that's gonna be one more point. 68 now. We have 1 minute to go in this first half. Still anyone's game. Ukraine has had the further run, but Sweden's had more consistency. Both of them doing pretty good. Qualifying on Sweden's end with just 20 seconds left. Qualifying for Ukraine as well. That is going to be 1 point for Sweden. Dying to the beginning of it now. 69 points. This is going to be a good run for Ukraine here. Going to get some point gains. And that is time for the first half. This is their last attempt. And there you go. That is going to be 5 points for Ukraine. And Sweden does get a qualifying in. Last attempt. We'll see how this works out. And it's just going to be 1 point. Okay. Back to a 10-point difference. Exiting the first half. We have... Okay, wait. There's some spam. I'm going to have to... Okay. Right. So, yeah. Ukraine, 60. Sweden, 70 points. Just a 10-point difference between them. Still anyone's game going into the second half. I miss BDL streams. When did I ever stream Base Down Low? Oh, Base Down Low. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they might come back. They might come back. But I might wait until like I've gotten good runs and then do it so that it's, you know, more entertaining.
Wait, I'm sorry. I think you missed 1 point for me.
Where was that? That's possible at the start. I'm assuming.
That was like almost at the beginning.
Yeah, I think there was like a second where I think I noticed. I think Ari didn't do something.
Point. Just rewatch maybe later.
Wait, well we're on a break right now, so while you do whatever, I'll rewatch it. I've got a feeling I know when it happened. Yeah, was this? Hold on a second. Okay. I'm gonna still look for that miscorrection, but we actually gave Sweden, not Sweden, we gave Ukraine too much points at one point. You got to 32%, and we gave 5 points when qualifying for that is 49. So 4 need to... Well, no, they still get a point, so it would need to be 4 points deducted, so they're still 56. I'll keep looking for that mistake back, 'cause I think it was when you had around 30 points on the spreadsheet. Yeah, that was passed, that got 5, that was correct. That should have got 5. That was correct. This run should have got 5. That was given. This run should have given 5. And it was. Can you tell me where it is in the stream? Like, what was the timer at? 'Cause I can't find it. Yeah, I don't know where this point is that we're missing. If anywhere, it would be here, but that should be 5. I'll look later, but I genuinely can't find wherever that mistake is. I skipped through the whole stream. Okay, if you can exit out of the level, we'll start the second half. Alright. Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And the second half has started. Today's Zoink stream nuts. I was there. I was watching. Interesting reveal, not what I thought it was. That's for sure. And this is gonna be qualifying for Ukraine. And qualifying for Sweden, that's gonna be 1 point to Ukraine. Sweden gets 5, putting them to 75. Oh wait, I think Ukraine did barely get a point there. That we're gonna have to give. Yes, that was a 31, and that's another one there. That is gonna be 59 to Ukraine. 62 is the biggest choke point. Apparently, none of these guys can do it for some reason. Good run for, oh, 5 more points to Sweden, putting them at 80. Qualifying for Ukraine again. That's gonna be 5 points to Ukraine. And qualifying for Sweden. Will we see the 62 choke point arise again? We do. 5 points to Sweden. And that is going to be a point for Ukraine. Back to there being a 20-point difference between them. But Sweden is looking to further it here, getting to the 5-point range. Don't have 8 points. We'll be giving her higher than that. And another qualifying, that's going to be 5 for Sweden, putting them at 90. And that's going to be 1 for Ukraine, 66 points. Sweden is taking the lead now. Both of them are qualifying. That's gonna be 1 point to Sweden, 91. Ukraine is doing better. 5-point value reached. Will we die to the 60 choke point? No. Ukraine seems to have gone a bit consistent at it now. This could be qualifying for Sweden as well. At least 10 points for Ukraine here. This is huge. Dang, 87 death, that's sad. That's gonna be 10 points to Ukraine. But Sweden is looking to overdo that. Passes, dies to 63. 5 points awarded. 76 to 96 right now. Again, 20 points between them. Qualifying for Sweden again. That's gonna be 10 points to Sweden. Putting them over a big milestone, the triple point value. 62 is cursed. It really is, bro. They actually cannot pass 62 for the life of them, except for these past couple tries. Qualifying for Ukraine. Qualifying as well for Sweden. At least 5 points on Ukraine's side, and also at least 5 points on Sweden's side. It's gonna be 5 points for Sweden, but Ukraine, honestly, is catching up here. Another 10 points just awarded there. If Ukraine keeps up this consistency, 8 minutes, there's a chance. There's a chance. Gonna be qualifying for Sweden again. It's gonna be 5 points again for Sweden. They actually cannot pass 63. Yo, Bean, can you give me a shout out? on this stream, I guess, for people in chat. There you go. Shout out to Max. Okay, I'm not even gonna try and say the name. Wait, no, I'll try. Max Giyar Frisk GD. And that's my best attempt. Right, over halfway in for Sweden. 5 points again. The Sweden curse continues. Ukraine qualifying, Sweden qualifying. Some good runs here. Dies to 64 for Ukraine. That's 5 points to Ukraine. And Sweden is probably, let's be honest, we're gonna see 62, 63, or 64. Place your bets what's happening. And it was none of them. Oh, wait, hold on. Sweden's locked. Wait, Sweden's getting 10 points here. 79. That's 10 points to Sweden. Lucky rune for Ukraine. There's still a chance Ukraine can pull it back. There's still a chance. Qualifying for both of them. There's gonna be 1 point to Sweden. And that is going to be 5 points to Ukraine. 96 to 132. There's just a completion and a bit between them. That's still comebackable. There's still a chance. There's still a tiny chance. But it's not even that. 5 minutes left. It's not that tiny. But Sweden is getting a bit more consistent right now. Ukraine would need to not waste these attempts. Qualifying for Sweden. That's gonna be 1 point, I believe. Ukraine's gonna make a use of the attempt, but get at least 5 points here. Gets into the 60s, passes it. This could go far. Qualifying for Sweden as well. That's gonna be 10 points to Ukraine. Putting them over the 100-point barrier, but less than 4 minutes to go. It will be looking to be counteracted by Sweden, actually. We might see another 10% run here. We do. How far will we get? We'll find out. Missed a point? Oh, okay. Well, that is 10 more points to Sweden, so... around 40 points in between them. But I do think if Sweden wants to, you know, get overall #1, I think we need a tiny bit more point difference here. I believe we missed a point for Sweden right there. Sweden got 35. Yeah. Yeah, that. Sweden is... Was that? I think that was also it. I think that also hit. GD Historian. Who do you got winning the World Cup? I got Azerbaijan. I got 20 Azerbaijanian dollars on Azerbaijan to win the entire thing. Qualifying for Sweden. Was that? I think that was 1 point. With 2 minutes to go. Qualifying for Ukraine as well. I think it's safe to say, I mean, there's still a chance, I guess, but I think it's safe to say Ukraine is not going to be winning this round, but they still could win the overall rating of the 2 matches combined. We'll see. Both of them are on pretty good runs. At least 10 points for Ukraine here. They are bringing it back. And that is going to be 10 points. And it's looking to be counteracted by Sweden here in the last dying minutes. It is 10 points, 160 to Sweden now. I'm really nervous for Canada round 2 because I'm playing, but I think Canada got that. Canada's a good team. They should be able to. GD historian, by the way, Azerbaijan's hardest is Clutterfunk. Did you not see the buff date that Clutterfunk got recently, but? Like, it's incredibly harder now, so that's actually a very, very good achievement. Yeah. Look, a little birdie told me it might be placing on the demon list soon, so don't rule Azerbaijan out. That is also going to be 5 points for Sweden. Maybe even above tidal wave. Maybe. We'll see. The top players still need to have a crack at it, so we don't know, but like maybe they can't even. Maybe that's why we're not seeing top players do it, because they just not the skill level yet. Azerbaijan's just, you know, that far ahead. But this is time. Got a bit distracted there. This is their last attempts. Sweden have comfortably won here. And then we will see Ukraine's last shot at closing the gap. That is going to be 1 point at the very end. Ukraine 117, Sweden 165, final score. You guys happy with that? Or did you perform as good as you wanted?
Yeah, I did perform way better than I thought.
Did you see Zoink in a fursuit? Yeah, I did. I'll mention it at the end of my next video, even though it's not the point of the next video. But, yeah. W Canada. Yeah, when is Canada? Canada's not playing for a while. But anyways, yep, huge congrats to both of you. You did really good, and your teams are, like, comfortably the leading ones, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, good job on that. And I will see people tomorrow. We have 1 match planned for in round 3. The other one I'm awaiting a time, but it's looking like it'll be set. So I will update that as soon as I can, as soon as I get info on when the second round of match 3 is happening, or group 3. But yeah, I am done here. Thanks for coming over.